wonderful day. This is Mona, and I'm coming to you because I want to talk to you about the metaverse. I don't know how many of you actually have heard about the metaverse, or if you're even aware of what the metaverse is. I'm going to attempt to explain the metaverse to you, and I'm also going to educate you on how it may and how it will actually, and how it is already affecting the church as we know it. Now, for those of you who do not know what the metaverse is, the metaverse basically is an innovative new way for people to connect on 3D in a virtual world. Each person that connects with the metaverse or virtual reality, that's also known as VR, is represented by an avatar, preferably an avatar that looks like you or that represents you, but doesn't necessarily have to. The metaverse, in order to use the metaverse, you do have to have the proper equipment, which does include a weird thing that you put on your head and covers your eyes. It's kind of familiar to the a toy that we used to play with in the 70s and 80s that you would click on it, put it to your eyes, click on it, and then you can change each frame. But you don't manipulate what you see in this equipment that you put around your head with your hands. It is all 3D and virtual. Once you put the headset on, covers your eyes, you are thrust into a 3D world, a virtual world. You'll see your avatar and you'll see the avatar of other people once you get connected, if you will, to the metaverse. And so, how many of you know, well, all of you know that the church has changed quite a bit in the past 2 or 3 years since the pandemic. According to the Barna Institute, at the beginning of the pandemic, streaming online services was not popular among most churchgoers. By the end of 2020 and well into 2021, however, many church leaders had shifted to online services, taught the people how to give online, and were happy with how the churchgoers were able to engage with one another and with leadership in an online model. Now, I want to stop here for a second and talk about my role, if you will, in helping several churches and church leaders transition to an online model. Before the pandemic, most churches did not have an online presence, especially if they were smaller churches or if they were more conservative in nature. A lot of churches just did not have a website. They did not stream services online. They did not accept online donations. They pretty much were hands-on. You physically go to church. You physically give into the offering bucket. You physically shook your pastor's hand, and you dealt with people on a more physical level. When the pandemic happened, that shifted a lot of the trajectory of a lot of ministries. And I just so happened the year before the pandemic started working for this company that actually set up online donation services for nonprofit organizations and ministries. So I look at that placement as definitely the hand of the Most High in helping a lot of leaders, a lot of ministries, and a lot of churches, and also a lot of nonprofit organizations that didn't have their foot in the door as it pertains to online services. I helped a lot of leaders and a lot of organizations, myself and other people in job. We counseled people. We helped people to develop a website for those who did not have a website presence. We highly encouraged churches and ministries to stream their services online, to engage their members or engage other people in the internet community to be a partaker of their ministry and of their churches. Because a lot of people were not comfortable. They just weren't comfortable with transitioning online. And our assignment, if you will, was to help them become comfortable with that. Because I believe that the Most High was preparing me for many, many years to help people transition online during this pandemic. Because I myself stopped going to church many years prior, And the Most High had been opening doors of opportunity to me to minister online. I was one of the first people that actually started streaming their Bible study courses on the Ustream platform before it became monetized many, many years ago. I studied at the Potter's House School of Ministry. So I had some background in ministry. I had some background being online. And I just said, well, let's parlay that. I know that the Most High pulled me out of church for a purpose. And that was many, many years ago. And then lo and behold, 2019, 2020, the pandemic changed the landscape of ministry forever. And I'm most thankful that the Most High used me in that capacity and used others in that capacity to help churches and ministry, nonprofit organizations transition to online. However, I do not believe that the Most High is in the transition of the churches and the ministries from online services to the metaverse. And you're about to see why in just a moment. And here in this slide, I have just a brief explanation from the church.digital blog on what the metaverse means for your church. If you're interested in the link for that, I will get that for you. And I want you to take a look. These are actual this is what a lot of the services that are available on the metaverse look like when someone puts the headset on and they say, we're going to church in the metaverse. This is what they see. I want you to look at these pictures. The people are not real people. They're avatars. They represent other different people, if you will. Notice it has a sort of a game look. It looks like they're gaming. I think that I believe the enemy prepared a lot of people for being able to look at this platform and understand it with the gaming industry. The Wii sticks, and I never played that stuff, but the interactive, getting the kids involved in the game, making them feel like they're actually there, killing people or playing the ball or whatever. That began in the 90s and 2000s. And this is only just a step in the direction of actually totally going online. And I remember the Ruach speaking to me and showing me that there will be robots preaching to us. So I'm looking at this metaverse, this church in the metaverse, and it's becoming a reality, y'all. And I don't believe that the Most High is in it. I don't believe that the Most High is in it. And if you see all these different platforms, you look at these people, these avatars that represent the people that are supposed to be going to church. It looks like some sort of game. It looks this weird and demonic to me. I mean, I'm not telling you to not be a part of the metaverse, go to church in the metaverse. I'm not telling you to do it. But I'm just giving you a heads up, and I'm actually trying to warn people. I do not believe that the Most High is in this. All you have to do is look at these people, look at these avatars. Okay, these avatars, and the reason why I say I don't believe that the Most High is in this is because avatars represent an alternate reality, if you will, virtual reality, but an alternate reality. When we start dealing in the realm of the
greetings, how are you guys doing? I hope that
or alternate or virtual, we are opening up our spirit man to the demonic, because everything that you see is not what you see. You see something, but it's not really what you're seeing. And this is what the metaverse does for a lot of people, is people can actually go into the metaverse and develop a whole other reality. They could be whoever they want to be in the metaverse. They don't have to be themselves. They can deceive many, many people. A lot of the leaders could come on here and be something that they're not. It's easier to do it actually in the metaverse than it is online. At least online services, we could see who is teaching us, who is preaching to us. We could see the people that are involved, and it's more of a true engaging experience. Whereas this this is a false one. This is not fellowship. This is not. This is has the potential to become very dangerous spiritually. You know, here we hear about a story of a woman who was in the metaverse, and she was actually accosted. She was gang raped, virtually gang raped, by 3 or 4 men avatars with male voices. She was not a younger 43-year-old lady, entered the metaverse, and within seconds, 3 or 4 guys with voices started like just virtually raping her. And these are more pictures of more virtual church services. It looks like something out of a Harry Potter or some kind of game. It's just weird to me, y'all. Okay, the woman says she was shocked by the derogatory comments when she filed a report. She was both virtually and sexually harassed. And the head of the Meta is now the platform that Facebook uses. The vice president of Meta, Mr. Patel, says that he pretty much insinuated that this lady who was verbally and sexually harassed brought it upon herself because she did not use the safety feature that's meant to block interactions. And of course, we know that is an example of casual victim blaming. And his name, the vice president name of Meta, is Vivek Sharma. Patel says the victim says she tried to get away, and the assailants yelled, "Don't pretend you don't win." And they kept accosting her and saying all kind of derogatory, sexually demeaning things to her. And when she spoke up and filed a complaint, many people pretty much berated her and victim shamed her, saying things like, "Don't choose a female avatar, don't be stupid, your complaint is just a pathetic cry for attention. Avatars don't have bodies, so they can't be assaulted. Obviously, you've never played Fortnite." Now, Fortnite is, I guess, some sort of activity that you can do in the metaverse. I don't know if you guys know who Travis Scott is. Travis Scott had a metaverse concert, if you will, in Fortnite, and this was back in 2020, I believe. And as far as a lot of you know, he had this is the same guy whose concert they had the concert, and those people were trampled to death. So the metaverse is not a safe environment. There's no way to actually monitor or protect people that enter the metaverse, because it's not monitored. We can't protect children and women who are raped and molested in the Catholic Church or in regular churches, period. How do we expect to protect people in the virtual world from dealing with the same issues? Great afternoon. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful afternoon. I just wanted to conclude in a video section of this presentation why I believe it's very important that we stick to the virtual online service so we can actually see each other. You could see that I'm not an avatar, that I'm a real person. If I teach the word or if I preach the word to you or whatever, you see that I'm a real person doing so. But when you start talking about the virtual realities, that means that it's another word for alternate realities. And then you start deep delving into the unknown, which can always open up the demonic. Okay? If you start dealing with virtual reality, anything could come into the virtual world and pretend that it is a VR. And again, I want to reiterate if we're able to protect those in the church who meet each other physically, we're not able to protect children and women who physically go to church from molesters, rapists, and predators, what have you. How are we going to protect those in the world? The virtual world, the metaverse, is virtually, pun intended, unmonitored. There's no way to, if we can't get people to act in person, how are we going to get people to act right in a virtual world, in an unreal world? How are we going to legislate righteousness and true reality? Who is going to monitor that? Who is going to be virtual police? So this is the thing that we need to ask ourselves regarding this metaverse, not just as it pertains to fellowshipping in the church, but in regards to safety. The metaverse launching has not taken place. They say that this is only the beginning. It started out in October of last year through Facebook, which is now Meta. But when they do come out with a full-blown launch of metaverse, who's going to be monitoring metaverse? Who's going to make that there aren't any predators that can virtually or in any shape or form harm women or children? I've heard an instance, I didn't post a presentation, where a child was molested in the metaverse. We need to be careful. We can't stop predators from predating on each other or looking out for victims in reality. We can't protect our women and children. How are we going to do metaverse? And if the church is supposed to be set up to protect the sheep and protect the flock, the whole concept behind metaverse lends to the fact that it is unsafe, it is monitored. Everybody that gets on the metaverse is not going to be safe or filled. So people are going to come on there and they're going to feel more empowered to be the perverted version of themselves. Why? Because they're hiding behind a virtual reality. So everything that they suppress in the natural right now, those urges and desires, pedophilia, they're going to be able to play those things out in the virtual reality, and they won't be held accountable at all, because no one would. You can't monitor the virtual world. So we need to ask ourselves. I don't believe metaverse is something that the church should use. I believe that there will be a whole lot more molestations, a whole lot more sexual and virtual assaults. I also believe that there's something going on here where people may even be kidnapped in the metaverse. Now, I know that sounds wild and crazy, but having a metaverse sounded wild and crazy 10, 15 years ago. We need to be careful. We need to be able to see people when we're dealing with online. We need to be able to engage them, at least know that they're real, so that they can be accountable for what they do online. So the virtual online services, I am all for. I push it 100%. I urge you as a church or a ministry or a non-profit organization, definitely get up presence if you don't already. But the metaverse, stay away from that. It opens up the whole demonic realm, and it's a highly unmonitored arena where people will continually be victimized, assaulted, harassed, and no one deserves that. No one deserves that. And that's all I have to say about church in the metaverse. As always, be led by the Ruach HaKodesh in all that you do, online or offline. But take this information, pray about it, seek the Most High, do your own research, and you decide. Should you have service in the metaverse? I know it's going to change the whole structure and face of the internet, but at what cost? You guys be blessed in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach and be safe.